What's happening, Millionaire Car Salesman? This is L.A. Williams, the Blind Master. And before we get started here, let me ask y'all, how long have you been listening to this podcast? Right? Have you subscribed? Have you liked? Have you shared? If you haven't, please do that. I don't generally ask for a whole lot, but if y'all could just do me that favor, make sure folks subscribe, make sure you like, make sure you share the podcast. That would be huge. I want to let folks know what this is. So, I know it's the end of the month, and so we're getting ready to jump into November, and we wanted to give y'all some fire, something that you could use to take your career to the next level. So Sean and I opened up the group, and the Millionaire Car Salesman group on Facebook. In case you don't know about it, make sure that you are a part, because a lot of times you get these podcasts live. Okay, so what happened was we started answering some questions, and we say, wow, man, this is some pretty valuable stuff. We think that the podcast listeners should hear it. So you're going to be hearing us answer some questions. And so these are your questions. This is, stuff that you were asking if you're in the group. And if you're not in the group, like I said, make sure you get in there. But first, let me ask you a question. Did you come here to listen to money or make it? This is L.A. Williams, the Blind Master, and Sean V. Bradley and I came here for one reason and one reason only. That's to fill your pockets with money. Now how we gonna do it? By giving you the secrets, techniques, and strategies for you to stop losing and start winning at this game called automotive professional sales.
Look at the questions that are in the Millionaire Car Salesman group right now. So I got the Millionaire Car Salesman group and I want to just kind of go down. Anyone have any good word tracks for calling high internet rate clients in their third year of the purchase? My flow has guys that actually dial the phones. So a lot of the clients have been contacted, but I noticed that we are using a similar technique. Just looking to stand out with the rest of the pack. Thanks for any advice. Ellie, you want to jump on that one?
So help me understand the question, because it said high internet lead. Break that down for me again.
Yeah, it says anyone have some good word tracks for calling high interest rate. My bad.
Okay.
Calling high interest rate clients in their third year. My bad. Mm-hmm. I didn't have my glasses on. Okay. So in their third year of your purchase. Okay, good. Yeah. So yeah, you're calling people.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's the deal. Whenever someone is in a situation like that, right, you always want to, and this is just a sales thing, period. You always want to kind of ask them or present to them. You got to show people the problem, right? So many times people don't know that they're having a problem or whatever the case may be. And so I want to ask the person, obviously you just got to have the regular, you might have a greeting, you might have an ask permission to speak, but the purpose of your call, right? I want to introduce the problem to them very, very quickly, right? And so I'll ask them, hey, a simple question. Like I may say to you, hey, Sean, do you feel like you're paying too much right now for your vehicle? And if so, would you like to pay less?
Absolutely.
Okay. See, very, very simple, right? How many people are going to say, no, I think I'm paying what I'd like to pay. And actually, I want to keep paying it, or I definitely want to pay some more. They don't want to, they're not going to say something like that. They're going to say, absolutely.
LA, repeat that again. So this question is Matt. So Matt asked the question again. Yeah. So anyone have some good word tracks for calling high interest rate clients in their third year of their purchase? And you just hit it right on the head. I mean, it's really simple. Do it again.
Yeah. So real quick, Sean, do you feel like you're paying too much for your vehicle? And if so, would you like to pay less?
Yes, I do feel like I'm paying too much. And okay. I'd like to pay less.
Yeah. And I'm glad you just said that, but here's the thing. I have to ask that question. Do you know the reason that you're right now you're overpaying?
Yeah, actually I do. I have a super high interest rate.
Okay. Awesome. And so I'm assuming based on what you just said, you'd like for that to be lowered. Is that correct?
Heck yeah, I would.
Okay. All right. You know what? I'm so glad you said that, because I actually have some programs and some things that I'd like to discuss with you. And boom, now we can kind of get into the conversation. Now, here's the problem though, right? If you want to try to shortcut what I did, go right ahead. But I'm telling you, you're not going to have the same level of success. See, what I just did was I primed Sean's mind for what I'm getting ready to do for him. So many times people call and be like, hey, Sean, I can lower your interest rate. Not interested. Click. Right. Right. That is not going to do the same thing. I have to bring forth the problem. I have to bring the problem to the forefront. He's like, yeah, I'm having a problem. Okay, cool. So, and we're breaking it down. And now once I tell him, hey, you know what? Based on the thing that you just told me you needed, I may have some solutions for you. And now we can have a conversation. And Sean is much more dialed in to what I'm saying. Does that make sense?
100%. Okay, next one, because we're going to go bang through a bunch of these, okay?
Yep.
Okay, so we've got one right here. I'll take this one. You guys, what are some of y'all techniques to work two customers in the showroom at once? I kind of struggle with that. Okay, so this sentence is a little bit off, but it's how do you juggle two prospects in the showroom? Okay, so hold on for a second. I'm going to type in that we're on here.
We're answering your question live in the Millionaire Car Salesman podcast in the Millionaire Car Salesman Facebook group. So he gets his notification. He's going to be like, oh, shoot, let me jump on right now. Absolutely. You might be working with two customers.
Here's my first thing I'm going to say to this is that I want to caution you for, as a manager, okay, I've been a manager for many years on the front lines, is that I would not want somebody working two customers unless they had some experience, okay? Because if you're brand new and you still haven't metaphorically found your sea leg, so to speak, you might compromise the other person's experience because you're trying to jump back and forth. So again, what I'm saying is this isn't for rookies. Now, that does not mean that it's impossible. I know when I used to sell cars, I used to average over 33 units a month on the showroom floor. And sometimes, many times I had two customers in the showroom, but sometimes I had actually three in the showroom. It also depends on, and I'm going to assume that you don't have an assistant, right? Okay, because that's just not cheating, but it's a lot easier if you had an assistant. Okay, you need to know what your process is. So let me give you an example. If I had two people at the same time, I'm not sure that I would do that. Okay. Personally, I wouldn't bring somebody in exactly at the same time on purpose and try to juggle them both at the same time. I would try to stack them, and at least I had the first prospect that I had partially already in. You know what I mean? So whether I did the first part of the qualification, the meet and greet, etc., I've also done the product selection, hopefully the product presentation. I would like to have had that. It's going to be, in my opinion, not the best experience if they both walked in at the exact same time. I don't see how you're going to juggle back and forth the qualification process and the product selection process and the product presentation process all at the same time without compromising the experience for one of those people. LA, what is your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we talk about, let's say if there's an 8-step process, a 10-step, a 12-step process. What Sean is saying is that you don't want to have two customers both on step 1, right? It may be okay to have customers go from 1 through 8, and then you got another customer that comes in on step 1 when you're finishing 8 through 12 with a different customer, but it's not going to be a good experience. I think probably either way, but let's just definitely if you got, customers both on 1, both on 2, both on 3, both on 4, that's not going to work. So.
Yeah. So here, let's go back to it. Let's just say that if I have two prospects, right, that are going to come in, it also depends. The more that you could get prepped, the better it's going to be for you. Okay. What I mean by that is if I did the majority of the legwork before they even step foot into the dealership, meaning I did the qualifications, identifying wants, wishes, expectations. I, found out all the information, what vehicle that they were interested in. I found out if they had a trade-in or potentially a trade-in. I found a potential vehicle in stock that might be of interest. You see what I'm saying? Or at least one of the prospects, I did some or most of the legwork. That way, if they did come in at the same time, they're not at the same step at the same time. So even if they both arrived at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock in the morning, depending how much pre-work I got done on one of those would completely change the landscape of the actual engagement process. Does that make sense, LA?
Yeah, definitely.
So Again, the simple answer is this. One, this is not for rookies or for inexperienced people or for people that are not performing well. I would not even attempt to juggle people because, you know what I mean? Like you're distracted by, oh my God, I got two people. Let me try to sell two cars. Because you might try to sell two cars and end up selling no
zero
cars. Yeah, I'm going to repeat that. You might be trying to sell two cars and wind up selling no cars. You might lose both of them because you dropped the ball. So I would say that only do this if you've got experience, if you're prepared, and you got management's permission. Okay, now let's say you are prepared, you are experienced, and you have management permission to engage. Then I would say is try to gather as much of the preliminary information or process steps beforehand on the phone, email, text, etc. That way, when you do schedule them, if at all possible, have them staggered, even if it's just 15 or 30 minutes difference. That's going to be able to give you enough time to be able to have the two different processes where you could juggle. Now, again, in addition to staggering the time, also, if you have some or most of the preliminary work done, it will actually give you even more breathing time to be able to go back and forth and kind of juggle, if you will. All right, LA, let's go to the next one here. This is anonymous. Question about draws. Should they be washed out at the end of the month? My dealership does not wash it out. For example, I'm going into this month owing negative $735. Okay, this was a big question. There's like 33 comments on this. I want to get your opinion, and I'm going to give my opinion on this. So the question is simple. Should they be washed out at the end of the month? My dealership does not wash it out. For example, I'm going to owe X amount of dollars. What's your thoughts?
No, I don't think they should be washed out. Here's the deal, right? When it comes to there's a draw for a reason, right? And I think that folks have to really understand what a draw is, what's the purpose of it, right? And really, it'll just put you in position to make more money. But you can't be one of those people that just think you're just gonna make, why are you even thinking about your draw, man? You got to be thinking about making money. You should be focused on like blowing it out the water every freaking week, let alone every freaking month, right? You gotta put your attention in an entirely different place. Like that's like, somebody wanting to, let's say, I'm just going to use a crazy analogy, right? Okay, commit this thing happened, and all of a sudden you always want forgiveness. Like, come on, man, I don't need that, right? I just want to go out and win. That's my position on it, Sean.
Yeah, look, I'm going to say this right now. LA's 100% correct. If you're worried about your draw, you're already shot, in the foot. I'm not worried about no stinking draw. Like I'm not going to have a draw, especially now with this economy and with inventory. I feel bad for you. I don't know if it's lack of training, lack of support, or lack of whatever, but the fact that you're going into this month and you're negative $735, that doesn't sound good. And again, it looks like you're looking for relief from the dealerships. You got to understand something. Now, most dealers don't have a salary. Some do. And you got to think the rule of thumb is always this. You normally, and again, it might not happen at all dealerships, but you normally get a higher percentage when there's no salary. In lieu of salary, instead of having a salary, you have a potential to earn more in commissions, bonuses, spiffs, and things like that. So again, the whole purpose of the draw is I'm going to front you money. I'm going to loan you money based on the fact that you're going to be able to earn X amount of dollars in commissions. Now, if you don't sell anything for an entire month, that's not the dealership's fault, and it's not the dealership's problem. You see what I'm saying? Is that if you are looking for security like that, and if you're looking for a career like that, that's totally okay. I mean, it's like investing in mutual funds versus investing in a stock. High risk, high reward. Low risk, low reward. Again, I think it's about setting proper expectations. I think the bigger issue is that you're going through something. You know what I mean? Like there's a problem, at the dealership or with you, whether it's training, preparation, or something that's compromising you. And I get it. It sucks. You're not making money. And on top of you not making money, you now owe the dealership money. Again, this might not be the right career for you on the trajectory that you're on, unless you get help with training, support, mentorship. It's not looking good. LA.
Yeah. Let me say this to you, because here's the thing. We all talk about how, selling cars is like having your own business, right? But no one ever teaches us how to have our own business. Bottom line is this, right? Your dealership is now the bank, right? You're a business owner. Okay. And so the bank is going to loan you a certain amount of money for you to be able to run your business on a monthly basis. Well, at the end of the daggone month, the bank don't care what happened with your business. You know what I'm saying? They just want their daggone money, right? And so you got to be grown enough. And I'm saying it that way. You got to be grown up in business enough. You got to be mature enough in business to say, hey, you know what? It's time for me to pay up. I got to pay. Listen, so whether it was a credit card, whether it's the bank, whether it's a dealership, right? You got to be grown enough, mature enough in business to say, hey, you know what? I didn't do what I was supposed to do. I didn't make the money that I thought I was going to make last month. So now I still owe the bank $735. So now I got to make sure I overachieve this next month. Again, it is what it is. Listen, I'm not going to be, like, all right, well, yeah, draw a dollar. Listen, if you're in that situation, it may be okay for that 1 month, right? But you definitely don't want to. You want to make sure that doesn't continuously happen to you, because first of all, you probably won't end up having a job. But secondarily, it's not going to look good, like Sean said, for your career. You got to totally change your mentality. And I'm hoping that what we're saying is beneficial to you, because as a business owner, right? Even let's think about it. I do insurance, right? There are certain things called chargebacks, right? So listen, these aren't even situations where I wasn't selling. Like the client may have decided, hey, you know what? They're not going to particularly pay. Well, listen, I got to pay that money. Right. And so what do I need to do? Well, there's formulas. There's different things that I need to do, being selling other products and things like that, to make sure that I don't end up in that owing draw type of situation. Multiple businesses have these same concepts going on. So y'all just got to make sure you don't end up in that situation for an extended period of time.
Okay. Next question is from Ryan Harlow. LA, you touched on this one. I don't even understand the question. It says, what's your most effective car lead magnet?
Mm-hmm.
So what is I don't even understand the question. Car lead magnet.
So I'll break it down. So here's the deal. So if you're selling books, Sean, right? You know how when you're selling your book, you can create a lead magnet. You can go, hey, you know what? Hey, click on this 2-page report and it'll tell you everything you need to know about such and such, right? Whatever your book is about, right? Search engine optimization, right? But what happens is it's a 2-page report that basically sells Googleopoly, right? It's a 2-page report that, yes, it gives them some value, but at the end of it, it's like, hey, you know what? You should actually buy Googleopoly. And so it's very easy for people to click on something and get a 2-page report. That's a lead magnet for your book. And so he's asking, hey, what's a lead magnet for a car? And I told him, I said, maybe we could tackle this on the Millionaire Car Salesman podcast. So,
all right, so let's tackle it. So what are your thoughts on this, LA?
So here's the deal. My thought process is that this is a little bit of a different ball game, right? Because think about it. I know you're selling cars and things like that, right? But this is a different type of purchase, right? You're looking for a lead magnet for a car or a home or anything like that. This is the second largest purchase most people ever make. You should be looking for finding more people. How can you get in front of more people? Because here's the deal. The best quote unquote lead magnet, right, for you in your situation is someone's what they're currently driving, right? Most people are already driving vehicles, or they might be in a situation where they might be taking Uber or whatever the situation may be. They're not driving at all, but they'd like to be driving. So you got to be thinking about this from a much different perspective. It's kind of the same way we talked about with the whole draw thing. You got to change your mind on how to do it. It's not like a lead magnet, like, oh, I'm just going to put this thing out there. I'm going to give you you know what a lead magnet for a car is? The test drive. That's what a lead magnet is for a car. So that's my perspective on it. You got to be thinking, how can I get in front of more people? Think about that versus trying to put together a lead magnet for a car.
Okay, so and this is going to go to the next question. So, but Ryan, I wanna just go down to next Jared Drake. Okay, when it comes to scaling in sales, 30 cars plus, can working a large percentage of your deals over the phone before the client comes in do more good than harm? Of course, there are cons to them being present, such as leverage while they are there and then shopping your numbers. But the fact that you can work the deal at your pace and avoid a split deal, because appointments do tend to overlap. Sometimes you have to split. Okay, so hold on. I was going to say, I'm going to answer Jared and Ryan in here at the same time. Okay, first and foremost, what LA just said, I agree with so much. Instead of worrying about the lead magnet, what you want to think about, Ryan, is how to diversify. Okay, I say this all the time. There's 8 ways that a showroom salesperson could sell an automobile: walk-ins, be-back, internet, phone, prior customers / orphan owners, service conversions, referrals, and the lost art of prospecting. Walk-in, be-back, internet, phone, prior, orphan, service, referrals, and prospecting. There's 8 separate ways, but the average salesperson is only clicking or utilizing 2 to 3 max a month. That means 5 to 6 different ways are escaping the salesperson every single day, every single week, and every single month. So diversifying the ways that you have to sell is, to me, the biggest magnet you have to opportunity. The next thing is, remember, this is a numbers game. The more people that you engage, the more connections, the more appointments, the more shows, the more sales. The numbers are simple. It's not magic, it's math. Get to more people, make more attempts, and then the math will kind of trigger in. Now let's go into Drake.
Wait. Oh, go ahead. All right. So I'm gonna add this in. I'm gonna add this in. All right. So if you want to talk about what is Cody Carter's lead magnet, well, he has a website, right? Right. Tuscan. What is it again? TuscanToyota.Cody.com. What is it again?
Yes, it's Tuscan Toyota.CodyCarter.com. But you could just go to Retrack Autos. So when you go to Retrack Autos, I'm going there right now.
Mm-hmm. That's his lead magnet, right? So what is Ali Rader's lead magnet, right? Well, he attends community events, right? He actually, not only does he sponsor, but he attends the events and he spends time there, right? And so that's how he creates a lead magnet. What is Carlos's lead magnet, right? He talks about how he will help the Spanish community with whether it's their paperwork, when no matter what it is, he's willing to assist these people, even if he doesn't sell them a car, and he ends up selling them lots of cars, right? What is Frank's lead magnet? What does he do? Well, he's all over Facebook, and he's what's next, right? He's got a whole thought process. He's got a whole marketing thought process. That's what you're thinking about again. But all of those,
I got it right here.
It's
Cody. Sorry, let me interrupt. It's Cody.TustinToyota.com. Again, that's Cody.Tustin, TUSTIN, Toyota.com. And Ryan, it's crazy because Cody just sold last month 140 cars on the showroom floor as a salesperson. 140. He made $112,000 in personal income last month. Last year, he sold 1,200 cars in 2022, and he earned $1.1 million on the showroom floor. And I'm going to put his information right here. That's Cody Carter. Mm-hmm. There, I just put it in the thing.
Yeah.
There you go.
So again, so these are all quote unquote lead magnets, but as you can tell, they're all basically people magnets, right? That it's, how do I find ways to get in front of more people, right? Cody's got an amazing word of mouth going on with his business. The same thing is Ali and Frank also. So I'm just, Chrissy Burton, same situation. It's just crazy word of mouth, right? It's amazing. And that's what happens. People attract you more people.
100%. So Ryan, before if you've got any other questions, I think Ryan's on here, just ask us, but I hope that helps. I hope that the 8 ways to sell cars, walk-in, be-back, internet, phone, prior customers, referrals, service conversions, lost order prospecting is strong for you. In addition to that, Tiana Mick, my daughter, T Got Your Keys is her website, her lead magnet. Cody Carter's is the it's the Cody.TustinToyota.com. Kalina Bradley's it's kgotyoucovered.com. It could be a website. I know there's a woman, Brittany Murphy at White Marsh Chevrolet, part of the Coons Automotive Group. She sells like 50 to 60 cars a month, and 18 to 22 cars a month comes out of the service department. The service drive is her lead magnet.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
April 15th to the 17th is the IS20G conference, which is the Millionaire Car Salesman Conference, the Dealer Synergy Conference, the Internet Sales 20 Conference. We're going to be in Baltimore. Be more in Baltimore, April 15th to the 17th. So we're going to start having information probably at the end of this month, beginning of next month. We're going to have the website up. It's still got last year's event, but again, our venue's locked in. We're at the beautiful historic Lord Hotel in downtown Baltimore. We're going to have the biggest, most powerful conference we've ever had. This is our 16th year. Can you imagine doing a conference for 16 years? You can't do anything. It's like the McRib. It's coming back better than before. You know what I'm saying, people?
If you want to get more information on IS20G, just text me the letters IS20G. I know it's letters and numbers.
Or if you want to speak,
yeah, send it to 267-551-6279. Again, 267-551-6279. I know we also have some companies that sometimes want to sponsor the event. You can also send me those letters and just put the word sponsor, and it'll let me know that that's something that you'd like to do, and we'll be in contact with you. All right.
Let's just jump into the next question. It's Jared Drake. So LA, it's like when it comes to scaling in sales, 30 cars plus, so post 30 cars, can working a large percentage of your deals over the phone before the client come in do more good than harm? All right. Jared, this is coming from a 30 car guy. I used to average 33 units a month. There's people who sold a lot more than me, but I did average 33 units a month on the showroom floor. And when I did it, I was predominantly phones and internet, but there wasn't a department. I was like the one man show, so to speak, from internet and phones. I even worked at a Porsche, Jaguar, Aston Martin dealership selling 30 Highline cars a month, mostly Porsches and Jags, and some Aston Martins. And the way that I did it is exactly what you're saying. I spent a lot of time working off the phone, email, and, eventually text message. I think that if you try to shepherd them in, right? If you try to shepherd people in to the dealership, it's going to elongate the process. Okay, let me explain. Even with the communications, if you just take email, phone call, chat, and you sit there and you ask a bunch of questions, or you just try to drive them to the showroom, you're elongating the process. I'm going to give you a case study. Bob Ruth Ford. Bob Ruth Ford is one of our Ford dealership clients that has legitimately been our client for almost 8 years. We took the store from doing 75 units a month on the internet to 320 units a month on the internet. Do you understand? That's ridiculous amount of growth, right? And what they've done is they built an internet dealership. 50% of their entire business is done virtually. That means they do the entire deal on the phone and on through the internet through Zooms. Like they're doing the qualification, they're doing the needs assessment, they're working the numbers, they're putting the deal together, and they're closing the deal. Now, here's the challenge though. I'm a good car guy, I think, and I'm a great trainer, and I believe in building value. I believe in doing a full features and benefits walk around presentation. I believe in doing a test drive. I believe these things because if you do a full features and benefits walk around presentation and you do a test drive and a service walk, right? You are going to build value, which is going to increase the probability of closing that deal and maxing gross. However, I'm going to source for you Ali Reda, who broke the Guinness Book of World Records. Ali Reda, he sold 1,582 units in a year, 209 units in a month, and 35 cars in one day. He does virtually no test drives. Now, disclaimer, he doesn't just up random people. He's almost exclusively prior customers and referrals. He believes in relationship selling, not transactional selling. But the case studies there is that he does virtually no test drives. Another person, Frank Crinity from Piazza Honda, sells over 100 units a month, does virtually no test drives. Cody Carter, I just told you, sold 140 cars last month. Last month. He made $112,000 in personal income last month, and he does virtually no test drives. Again, Bob Ruth Ford, the majority of these people, they're doing deals and they're not doing test drives until the deal is all done. And it's not because they're forcing them. The customer prefers to do the virtual experience and the convenience and the expeditious way of doing business. I'm not saying that works for everybody. I just want to answer Jared's question. LA, you want to jump in? You want to elaborate on what I'm saying here?
Yeah, it's a great question. I'm telling you that the challenge is the perspective that the question is coming from. And I don't know. I mean, people's thought process. I just feel like, Drake, you're coming from a scarcity mindset, right? Because you're like, oh, I'm not want to have to split deals. Oh, I don't want to do this. Oh, I don't want to do that. Just have the thought process of, I want to do more. I want to be more, and I want to get more. I want to have an amazing experience for my customers. And so that if your focus is in that area, you'll automatically make more money. And yes, those other things will happen for you, man. But don't have the thought process of, oh, I got to do it over the phone because if this person comes in, then I got to split a deal. And I'm telling you, that's hindering you, right? So if you just have a little bit of a different perspective, right? Just understand that the difference between winning and losing is so minute that it appears ridiculous. And so most people never make the adjustment, right? And sometimes it's so minute that even when I'm telling them to them, they're like, all right, LA, yeah, but so what, man? Why are you paying attention to that? Right? And I'm telling you, like, it's the big difference between winning and losing. So please hear my heart when I share with you that you got to shift your mindset from worrying about what other people might get based on what you're doing versus what you and your customer, the entire customer experience that you're going to create between you and your customer.
We're going to go to the next one. I like this one. This is anonymous. They didn't want to be mentioned. So LA, genuine question. I've been selling for 10 years and I'm looking for education and serious outside wisdom. Why is it that the vehicle sales world and dealership life is so toxic? Why is it so common and basically accepted that a salesperson has a 2-year shelf life because chronic toxic work environment? It's common to a dealer ship, especially in big cities. What other industry would accept that? Why is it so common and acceptable that the management in car sales speaks to people in such a terrible, degrading way? Is it possible to come to work, crush your goals, and honestly go home happy? Why is it just accepted how dog shit the dealership culture has gotten? Is this fixable? Is it time for sales unions to be formed to create balance? I'm going to touch this one first. First of all, if you think that the automotive industry is the only industry that's toxic, I don't know what you've been doing. No disrespect. I don't know if you're SpongeBob living under a pineapple under the sea, but the legal industry, lawyers and judges, is toxic. Political is toxic. Medical, like the hospitals and nurses, is toxic. Real estate is toxic. Brother, you live in a country where they hate the Pope because he's Catholic. What I'm saying is that understand what I just said. Half the world hates the Pope because he's Catholic. You've got Bloods, you've got Crips, you've got Democrats, you got Republicans. I mean, everywhere you go, I don't know what you think other industries are, that it's like Smurf Village, la, 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 where you fucking skip to work all day and they sing Kumbaya. And I'm not being disrespectful. I know that it sounds like you've got pain. It sounds like you've gotten abused at your dealership or you are enveloped in abuse. And I'm not mocking you and I'm not minimizing that, but I want to let you know it is rampant everywhere. Do you understand there's people that fucking eat other people? There's cannibals. Do you understand? There's the Ukrainian war right now. There's the Israeli war right now. We got two fucking wars going on right now. You've got North Korea, you've got the Chinese, and I'm not bringing random shit. I'm just trying to tell you the world is fucked up. The world is fucked up. You don't work at a dealership because you're looking for peace and prosperity. That's not it. Maybe, and I'd have to tell you, you'd be surprised at like FEMA, the Red Cross, PETA. I'm sure there's toxicity all over the place. I mean, you think it's fun in the movies? Look what Harvey Weinstein was doing. You think it's fun in the music industry? Look what R. Kelly was doing. Look at how fucked up the world is. So again, I'm not minimizing anything you're feeling, but I'm just going to tell you right now, people don't give a shit about your feelings. That's what it is. I care about your feelings. LA cares about your feelings. And I need you to understand that it's not just our industry. Because I'm going to say this, our industry has such a negative reputation and it makes me angry. It makes me angry because there are more priests and there are more police that are enveloped in controversy and lawsuits and exposés than automotive dealerships are. And I'm going to tell you that you probably have a horrific experience, and I'm sorry, but there are dealerships that are genuine. Shout out to RK Auto Group. Okay. Shout out the Coons Automotive Organization. Shout out Summit Toyota. And I could go on and on. Just as many shitty dealerships that shit on their people, there are beautiful dealerships that love on their people, that encourage, their people. So it's not the automotive industry. When we have statements like that, it blankets an entire industry. That's like saying Black people are like this, or Asian people are like this, or Belizean people are like this. That is such a bad mindset. It's not our industry. It might be your fucked up dealership and a bunch of other fucked up dealerships, but it's not our industry. There's good and bad everywhere. Now, let me explain to you what it is. Okay. When you have so much money that could be made, especially in the last 3 years, come on, let's be honest. You didn't have to have a lot of fucking talent. You just had inventory, and guess what? You're rich. You're making stupid money. And when there's a ton of money and not very much regulation or oversight, so to speak, there's egos. Oh my God. There's so many egos. And I'm the best. I'm this. No, fuck you. I'm the best. I'm this. Ego kills. Ego is a cardinal sin in life. And so you said, why is it? I think because there's a lot of egos out there. Okay. And I think that there is a misunderstanding that there's a lot of people that jump from place to place to place, including management. So when there's such a high turnover, it's like the chicken or the egg. Well, there's turnover because people are mean to me. Well, maybe, but maybe you have shitty people because they're jumping from dealership to dealership thinking that the grass is greener on the other side. And that might not be 100% accurate. And so what I always say, because we've recruited and staffed, and if you don't know, Dealer Synergy does massive amount of recruiting and staffing. We've successfully recruited and hired over 37,000 plus automotive professionals and managers in the last 19 and a half years. Think about it. I've been doing recruiting and staffing for almost 20 years, and I put 37,000 people to work in our country, in our industry. And one of my competitors said this, which I love. Did we hire them dead or kill them after we got them? Which means we did a shitty job with recruiting, hiring, and staffing people. We're just grabbing random people. When you have random people, you get random results. And the people that were good, we did not have an onboarding process. We did not have a thorough training process. We did, and there's a difference between training versus providing professional development versus providing personal development versus providing team building. So there's 4 categories in developing a human resource asset: training, professional development, personal development, and team building, because there's a lack of all that shit, combined with the fact that we make a shit ton of money, combined with the fact that, again, it's just our culture to just drop a dealer or drop an employee. You're right. Some places it's chaotic. The good news is, you ready? It's not like that everywhere. I promise you. I have 3,700 dealer clients in the last 20 years that I've been in business. And there are some bad dealerships. There's some bad management, but guess what? There's some amazing dealerships with incredible cultures and incredible management. It sounds like you, unfortunately, are at a toxic place. But guess what else? There's really great news, my brother. Okay, you know what that is? You're not in prison. You're not an indentured servant. You've got freedom to choose. You have the ability to change your environment if you believe that they're unchangeable.
Here's the deal. So when it comes to this thought process, it makes me think that these people don't either watch movies, or you think that stuff is completely fictional, and it's not, right? You ever watch Law and Order, and they talk about how, the chief's going to chew my ass out, such and such and such and such, right? You ever watch Suits, and you see all the kind of stuff that happened in, like you said, the law industry. So, I mean, it's all over the place, as Sean said. Now, I like what you talked about when you said in the automotive industry and how, people need to act. People don't get trained on how to be great managers, right? People aren't being assisted. They're not really being taught, right? You talked about the 7 habits of highly effective people and all that kind of stuff. Nobody is getting that. I tell people, I come from North Philly, right? Nobody ever taught me about no 7 habits. All I learned about was the 7 dwarfs. You understand what I'm saying? And so people don't get that level of training. So how in the world are they supposed to know how to treat people, right? You hear people talk about in the automotive industry. That's why we can say fuck, shit, all that kind of stuff on the podcast, because it's a language that people really understand. Here's the deal. Go to the daggone Marines. We had a gentleman, I believe it was Weldon Long. He said, man, if somebody don't use the word fuck, I don't even trust him, right? Because he's in the military, right? So how people are talked to and treated and all that. Again, we're not making excuses and saying that it's delightable and delectable and everything's going to be that way. But please don't, set aside the automotive industry. As Sean said, it could just be your dealership. And how do you help people in situations like that? Folks have to get trained. Folks have to be taught. Folks have to be shown that there is a better way. There is a more productive way that we can make some daggone money. And we can also, have a positive outlook on life. Everything doesn't have to come from negative. There are, and I'm just going to say it like this, because there's, when you talk about marriages and all that kind of stuff, like Christians, right? There's dealerships that have a completely Christian mentality, right? Where they don't do cussing, they don't do this, they don't. And I'm not saying Christians are all that and everything like that. I mean, they're pretty cool. I like them, but I'm a Hebrew, right? So I'm just saying, right? There are people that come from different perspectives and they run their business in a different way. So you got to understand that. You got to make sure you're finding the right places. And then you got to kind of look at yourself and say, hey, wait a minute, when you decided to work there, did you audit how their business was? And were you okay with that when they was cutting you a check? Or did you settle and say, hey, you know what? Well, listen, even though I don't like this, they're cutting me a check, so I'm going to go ahead and be a part of the environment anyway, only to complain later. I don't know, man. Again, we're not ridiculing you. I'm just laying out different thought processes that it could be, so that way you can get some perspective, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Let me just tag into this, and I want to go to the next question, is that bottom line is, if you don't feel respected and you feel that you're in a toxic environment, you need to address that. You need to go through the chain of command. So I don't know what your position is at the dealership. If you're in sales, right? You said you've been selling for 10 years. So I'm assuming you're a sales professional. I would go to my sales manager and pull them to the side and say, look, I got to tell you something, just as a person, I really don't feel comfortable with some of the culture that's here. And I think it's kind of counterproductive. And I would articulate that. Now they might look at you like, man, shut up, you don't like it, leave, or something like that. And then you have a decision to make. Or they might be like, you know what? I apologize. I agree with you. I'll try to turn around and make a tweak. But if you don't ever say anything, right? If you don't say anything, then how do they know that something's bothering you, and how do they know they need to make a change? And then here brings me the other part. I'm not saying it's you, brother or sister. I have no idea. However, the challenge that I also see is that people that say these type of things, it sucks around me, they might be part of the contribution of the toxicity. I'm not saying that's you. It's not you, but I'm going to say be the change that you're looking for. Meaning that if you think that there should be a higher standard of behavior, of language, of I don't know, attitude and execution, etc., then be the change you want to be. If you are being positive, if you're being professional, if you're being patient, if you're being kind, if you're utilizing, proactive vocabulary and good language, and everybody else is acting like a nut there, again, I would try to bring it to somebody of authority's attention to try to get something rectified. If not, then I might reevaluate where I'm at. But again, you can't be part of the problem and complaining about the problem. And I'm not saying this for you. This is for anybody, because I doubt that you're the only person that's having a problem in the dealership. I doubt that you're the only person that's having a crazy environment or toxicity at the dealership. So this is why I'm answering this live on the podcast, because I want your question to be heard by everybody else, because there's going to be a lot of people, yeah, absolutely, amen, damn right, it's crazy over here too. I want you all to know that I want you to be the change that you're looking for. Now,
yeah.
All right,
let me just say this, Sean. I gotta say this, Sean.
Yeah,
we get what we tolerate, y'all. I mean, that's just the bottom line, right? We get what we tolerate. When it's unacceptable to you and you don't tolerate it, that's how you make the biggest change. Now, again, how you handle it, I love exactly what Sean said, right? How you handle it is going to be different. But the bottom line is you get what you tolerate. Don't tolerate the nonsense.
100%. Okay, so now let's go to the next one, which I like a lot too. All right, so the next question right here is, this is a really good one, LA. It says, I need everyone's opinion. I know $100 does not entice me to give referrals. How much do you feel is enticing enough for you to refer people to another business or friend? Let me basically answer that. And I'm actually voting right here. First, I love this question because I agree. Now, for the record, though, if you're able to give a referral, count yourself lucky. There's, I think maybe 4 or 5 states, approximately in the United States, that it's illegal to do a bird dog or referral fee. That sucks. I personally would hate to work in a state that prohibits me from financially incentivizing referrals, because I'm not saying that's the only way to get a referral, but I believe that if you properly financially incentivize somebody, it will massively increase your referrals. So let me answer the question directly. The question is, how much? Well, before I answer that, I want to give you some data. NADA says that the average dealership out of 16,500 franchise dealerships, the average dealership spends about $650 per car in advertising. Let me explain what that means. That means that the average dealership spends about $65,000 a month in advertising, and the average dealership sells a little bit less than 100 cars a month. So if you do the math, if I spend $65,000 a month and I sell 100 cars, that means it costs me approximately $650 per car to sell. However, that NADA math is bullshit. It's wrong, because that's assuming that every single ad dollar literally converts to a sale, which is absolutely not the case, because there are people that sell cars because of their franchise. I don't know. The Ford F-150 is the number one selling vehicle for 46 straight years. It's on planet Earth. So you're telling me that my ad dollars at a Ford dealership, for example, is the only way that I sold a car? No. Certain people are going to buy cars because you have a franchise flag. Some people are going to buy cars because you're the local dealership. Some people are going to buy cars because of their friends or family referred them to you. Some people are going to buy cars because they actually work at the dealership, whether it's in sales, management, office, janitor, or whatever. Some people are going to buy cars because their car broke down. They have no other choice. Some people are going to buy cars because their lease is about to term. So again, If you take those into effect as a national trainer and consultant, I would say that the average dealership is spending anywhere from $800 to $1,000 in advertising. So here's my thing. If you are spending $800 to $1,000 to generate a sale from internet leads, from online, from your website, from social media, from radio, TV, print, and blah, 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 at a 6% closing ratio, 10% closing ratio, 15% closing ratio, 20% closing ratio, 25% closing ratio. Those are all those closing ratios, by the way. Why the hell would you spend so much less for a 50% closing ratio? Because that's what NADA says, is that a referral closes on average of 50% at a higher gross profit. Are you freaking kidding me? So no, $100 is not enough. What I would say for the dealership is this. First and foremost, I would not charge back the salesperson. You don't charge back the salesperson for all other advertisements and marketing. Why would you force a salesperson to pay any money? So my first tip is this: all the dealerships out there, you should not be charging your dealership employees any type of fee. It should be for you as your ad budget. So now what I would say, bare minimum, $200 to $250. That's what I would say for the first one. Now, the next thing is this. I would create a stair-step program. So for example, if LA referred somebody to me, I might pay him $200 to $300 for the first one. However, in the same month, if he gives me another referral that closes in the same month, I might give him, let's pick a number. Let's just say it's $250 for the first one, right? I might give him $300 for the next one, or $350 on the next one. So $350. And then if he gives me another one, right? Let's say he gives me a third deal that closes in the same month, a separate one, not a 3-car deal. That one too, who cares? Whether it's a 3-car deal or he gives me 3 separate people. If a random person that doesn't have any affiliation with the dealership and had nothing to do with my marketing advertisement, if they give me a third person that closes in that month, guess what? I might give you a freaking $500 on the third one, $250 for the first one, $350 for the second one, and $500 for the next one. Guess what? Don't get scared or like, oh my God, I would never pay $500. Are you serious? You're paying more on average than $500 anyway right now for a lesser closing ratio. Why would I not want to create an informant? Why would I not want to create an agent, of my dealership, like the FBI, the CIA? You want to create a legion of informants, legion of undercover agents, and infiltrate them into the community, infiltrate them everywhere, and get them activated and motivate them. Your sales team is motivated because you've got a good pay plan, and because they've got some type of stair-step program between volume, gross, the manufacturers, whatever. There's bonuses, incentives, etc. The more that they do, the more that they make. Why are we so cheap to incentivize pretty much a freaking salesperson? Here's why. Because we don't think about math, logically, and we're greedy as shit. I don't know why we're okay with spending stupid ads or PPC or SEO a shit ton of money, but we don't want to spend to a local person that could give me people a couple $100 to $500. Who gives a shit? Here's the other reason why. Because dealerships don't have real programs. Okay. And they're getting pencil whipped. They're getting fucking taken advantage of by their employees. Some of them are scamming them or conning them. And so it's like, oh, boss, I need a check, or here's a check request. That was a referral. I understand. So here's my rule. When I worked at Cherry Hill Nissan, the number one Nissan store in the Northeast region of the United States, we're a 400 plus car single point Nissan dealership in South Jersey, right? Here's what we did. We had 2 different things. We had an 800 number that you had to leave the referral person's information before the dealership got, before this went through, right? Before the person came in for the referral. That was the first thing. The second thing is that we had a website. Okay. Now, if you've got a build a brand website like T Got Your Keys or K Got You Covered or any other build a brand website, there's a referral thing on there, and it's really simple. You could register your referral. Plus, folks, it looks more legit. It looks more professional when you have the ability, right? When you have the ability to say to somebody, hey, listen, LA, if you know somebody that's in the market for the vehicle, in any way, shape, or form, you don't have to worry about selling it and like that. Just refer them to me. There's two ways you can refer them to me. You could either call this magic 800 number and put their information on there, or you could go to www.tgotyourkeys.com and there's a referral link there and register them there. It's very important for me to pay you this. We have to have this, either before they come to the dealership or if they're at the dealership before the negotiations start. Okay. Our management has to know this. If it happens at the end, you're not going to get funded. Now, let me explain to you. The first person that you send me is going to be $250. Okay. The second person that you send me that closes, right, the first person got closed too, within the same month, I'm going to pay you $350. The third person that closes in the month, right, is going to pay you $500. So that's $500 plus $350 plus $250. Holy smokes. Okay, let's add that up. That's $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10. That's $1,100 you could make in 1 month just getting me 3 people. See, you see the way that I explain that, LA? Again, I'm explaining it how a salesperson would get explained how to sell cars. I'm giving you a commission. I'm giving you a pay plan. I'm giving you stair step. I'm giving you motivation. Now I'm going to smack you on the behind, metaphorically speaking, of course, because I don't want to charge. And I'm going to basically say, go be all you can be. Now, if they don't do that, is that my fault? No, but I am giving them what their potential is. So again, you want to try to give as much money. Now, here's the other thing. Remember I told you in the beginning of this rant right here, I said that I don't want the dealerships to charge the salesperson. Here's what I'm going to what I tell my daughters and my nephew. My nephew works at Patriot Buick GMC. My daughter works at RK Kia. And this is what I tell my nephew, my daughter, and my other daughter when she sold cars, Tiana, is look, whatever the dealership gives, I want you to come out of your own pocket, your own. And I said, okay, and here's how I do that. Let's say your mini is $100 or your mini is $150 or your mini is $200. Whatever the mini is, give it half, because the way that I justify this is if this was a split deal and you had a mini, you're getting only half anyway. Because if you think about it, if this is a real referral, that means you would have never, ever had this person if it wasn't for that referral agent. Do you understand me? So no matter what the dealership's giving, $250, $350, $500, whatever amount of money, I am going to put money out of my pocket. Okay. And I'm not going to just do the bare minimum. If I have a flat, I'm still giving them $50 or $75. But if I've got a fat deal, I'm not going to give them half or anything like that. But I might throw them $100, $200 or whatever. Can you imagine giving a civilian? Can you imagine giving a referral agent between you and the dealership $500, $600, $700? Are you fucking kidding me? Especially when Christmas comes around, they're like, yo, can I get any more of that referral money? Yeah, you got any more of those referrals? You want to incentivize people so they're cracked the fuck out in the middle of the night. They're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. They're wherever they're at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning trying to find you deals. $50 ain't going to do that shit. $100 ain't going to do that shit. You want to turn people out. Did he just say that? Yes, I did. Turn them out. Get people excited to want to make money for you. And you're not going to do that with freaking lunch money, okay? You can't go to a decent restaurant for 2 people on $100. So why are you expecting people to break their neck for you? And especially if you're selling vehicles that are $80, $90, $100,000 and you're making $5,000 grosses, you're selling cars at list, over list still, you should be trying to turn these people out. LA, you're laughing. Why? Am I wrong?
So here's the deal. You're not wrong at all, right? Here's what I want to. I'm going to add something, and then I want you to come back in and Sean and answer the additional question, right? So here's the deal. I agree with everything Sean just said. However, I will tell you that that's only going to really work with a money motivated individual. There are some people who actually aren't money motivated. They're motivated by other things, right? So let me kind of explain what I want you to understand is that you have to create an experience that they would do it for free. What? Yeah, you got to create an experience to where the person would refer you to people if you weren't paying them anything, right? They're doing it because, man, you're such a great individual. Oh, they're doing it because, oh, you provided this amazing experience. Oh, you're doing it because you got them this great deal. They're doing it because all of these other different reasons, right? And then the money is just on top of it. It's just like the icing on the cake, right? So I think part of the question, Sean, is what are some things that I can do to help people want to refer other people to me? How do I create a referable experience, right? That was one of the parts of the question. So that's what they want to ask. That's what they're asking also.
Okay, so I want to go in and respond to LA. I agree. I don't think everybody's money motivated. And I want to say this, there's some people, I started this by saying that you're in states that don't allow, for referrals and for financial compensation or bribing people, with bird dogs. So I do acknowledge that. And some of our best salespeople, don't pay for referrals. I'm telling you that me personally, I still am going to try to incentivize them and turn people out again, because if I could do both, why does it have to be either?
That's the key.
Okay.
That's the key.
So that's the thing. So that's where I agree with LA 100% is this. The number one thing isn't the money. The number one thing is giving them a mind-blowing experience. And what does that mean? That means being better and different than what they ever expected. Why? Because most people don't ever, tell other people about things that are just good or things that are just at expectation. It's only two things that really suck or things that are really good. It's one extreme or the other. If something's really bad, it's like, oh, smell this. Or taste it. Ew. It's when something's really bad, they let everybody know. Or when something's amazing. So you have to be amazing in your attitude, in your performance, in the experience that you create. For example, let's start from the beginning to the end. So in intercepting the prospect, if somebody submits an internet purchase request, again, the way that you follow up with them, maybe you follow up with them with a video email or a video text message. Maybe you are extremely fast. Maybe you answer their questions and go above and beyond. Maybe you're doing pictures and videos. Maybe you follow up with them through social media on TikTok. And they're like, oh my gosh, this guy turned around and responded to me on my TikTok and sent me a real funny TikTok. It was hilarious. You got to work with LA. He's amazing. Oh my God, this guy sent me a video email and answered my question. So I would say it is how you respond to people, the professionalism, the uniqueness of it, and then how you treated them. If you were quick, transparent, honest, sincere, fun, etc. Then when they got to the dealership, did you treat them inclusively? Did you treat the husband and the wife and the kids equally? Did you ask them if they wanted custom beverages from Starbucks or Jamba Juice or from Dunkin' Donuts? If they had kids, did you have, toys or activities ready for them? If their kid was autistic, did you have autistic toys at the dealership? Oh shit. Yeah. My clients do that type of stuff. Okay. Did you blow their mind with the entire engagement? Did you go out of your way to make them feel special, to give them a unique experience? Hey, did they buy a vehicle for somebody's birthday, anniversary, graduation, and you create this amazing experience with music, decorations, and all sorts of stuff? Did you blow their mind? So that's the first part of it. Did you create something that was worthy of being recommended? If not, then what do you expect? Then they shouldn't. You don't deserve them to refer you. But if you create that unique, mind-blowing experience, checkbox number one. Now, checkbox number two is pay them as much as you can and turn them out. So when you do check one and check two, There's checks in your pocket, baby, is all I'm saying, LA.
Beautiful stuff. All right, let me add this to it because I totally agree with what you said. If something's amazingly good or unbelievably good or unbelievably bad, right? People they'll also refer. Here's another reason why. If you're unbelievably consistent. Listen, I will tell you that I don't believe that, working with me, I don't know. I mean, some people think it's great, but it's consistent and people pay me as a speaker, right? Because when I come in, I'm consistent. You're going to get the good energy from me. You can count on certain things to happen when you work with LA Williams, right? You can count on certain coaching points. I'm not going to allow certain things. There's certain stuff about me that's just consistent. That's the whole thing about, Shep Hyken Shep Hyken talks about the Ritz-Carlton, right? It's about the consistency of their experience, right? It's not that they're so great, they're just a little bit better all the time than everywhere else. People refer McDonald's all the time, right? They're not necessarily that great, right? But the thing is, it's consistent. Well, that's actually a part of the problem with certain fast food chains is when it's not consistent. It's like, man, sometimes I go there and I get great coffee, and sometimes I go there and it's horrible, right? Sometimes I go there and my fries are burnt, and sometimes they're not, right? No, like people are looking for a consistent experience. Think about Jimmy John's, right? They talk about fat being freaky fast and all that kind of stuff. But the sandwich is consistent, right? So understand that there's a certain glow of consistency because most people aren't consistent. Most people are, they're sometimey, and that's one of the reasons why they aren't as high. They don't come as highly recommended. Now I understand, with car sales, it's okay. You're only working with the person every couple of years and things like that. However, every interaction with that customer should be consistent. There's a lot of touch points with a customer when you're going to sell them a car. So were you up certain times that they talk to you, or did some of the times you have an attitude, right? Were you in a good mood sometimes, and were you in a bad mood some of the other times? Are you the same in the morning or the evening? Are you like literally, and I'm not asking you to be a robot, I'm just asking you to be consistent, right? It doesn't matter right now. It's about 12 o'clock in the afternoon. It wouldn't matter if this was 7 o'clock in the morning, 12 o'clock at night. You'd still get this same consistent energy from me because this is what I do. This is what I'm known for. You're not going to catch me slipping because I don't slip, because this is truly who I am, right? Of course, I got my times where I'm laid back and everything like that, but Sean knows when the camera comes on, it's time to go. Let's go. So I know we got to get out of here, Sean, but I just wanted to.
I got one last one. I'm going to do the next one. That's the last one right here.
All right.
This is Cameron Howard.
Okay.
Hey, guys, when creating value in your cars, which do you emphasize more? Warranties, special rates, or features? Okay. And what happens right now is, it was a poll. 17% of people said warranties, 2% of people said special rates, and then 81% said features. And then my response is, it depends on what the customer's wants and needs are. Okay, so let me explain this. Seek first to understand and then to be understood. That is some of the best advice that I could give any sales professional out here that's listening to this podcast, that's in the Millionaire Car Salesman group. Let me explain. Seek first to understand and then to be understood. So it depends on what's most important to this prospect. If I'm qualifying you, when I pull out the needs assessment, when we first sit down and I'm qualifying you, and if I ask you, which is in my word track, just so I know, LA, what's most important to you, features or budget? If you say budget, then I am not going to focus first on all the features. So when I see 81% say features, okay, that's if features is the most important thing. Think of that logically. Why would I start with features and ramble on and all this shit that the car could do and do that stuff if that's not the most important thing to the prospect? Let me explain to you something, folks, because I've been doing this for 25 years. 25 years. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like 25 years I've been doing this. And there's been times I'm doing a full features and presentation and I'm slaying it. I'm killing it. I'm like, yeah, I'm in my zone. And they're like, I gotta go. Either because they really gotta go, Or they're just tired of hearing me talk and they want to cut the shit short, which happens. And can you imagine if I spent my time first on the shit that's not the most important to this person? I didn't talk about rebates and incentives and the special rates and all this other stuff because I was just talking about features and benefits because that's what I was told to talk about first. So again, seek first to understand and then to be understood. So when you say, Cameron, that you want to know in creating value in car sales, which do you emphasize more? My answer is it depends on what's the most important to the prospect, because that's what I start with first. And that's what I elaborate on the most. I'm going to repeat that last statement. That's what I start with first. And that's what I elaborate upon most, is whatever the hell is the most important to the prospect. LA, your response, and we're going to get out of here.
Man, you absolutely killed it, because I think that the question alone, and I don't want to come against you, the gentleman that put together the question, but again, it just shows a lack of qualification, right? And that's the bottom line. That's why we focus on the key is knowing how to qualify a customer. If we're not qualifying the customer properly, we will choose to focus on one of these three things and we'll lose the other percentage of customers that weren't looking for that particular thing. So the bottom line is to qualify the customer. You absolutely killed that. I couldn't give a better response, Sean. That was phenomenal.
So there you have it, the Millionaire Car Salesman podcast. This podcast comes to you every week from the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. If you have a question about the show or would like the chance to become a guest, feel free to contact us directly at 856-546-2440 or email us at millionairecarsalesman@gmail.com. This program is a presentation of Synergy Records, produced by Tiana Mick and L.A. Williams. Production and engineering by L.A. Williams. The Millionaire Car Salesman podcast is hosted every week by L.A. Williams and the Millionaire Car Salesman himself, Sean V. Bradley. The Millionaire Car Salesman podcast can be found everywhere, so please don't forget to review, subscribe to, and share the show. Thanks for listening to the Millionaire Car Salesman podcast, and remember, where I'm from, money provides options. If you enjoyed this podcast, then make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and leave us a review. Let some other folks know about it. Oh, and don't forget to join the Millionaire Car Salesman group on Facebook. We'll see you there.